Now that was some classic MLS playoff soccer, everybody. And if we're going to see something similar to this for the rest of the playoffs, boy, this playoff is going to be very exciting. Now, before we get into the chaos that happened in this game, first of all, we got to talk about the starting 11, and it seemed like New England was just pretty much putting their strongest 11 and having all three of their designated player attack in the starting 11 in this game. Well, for Montreal, they were definitely heading into this game shorthanded, especially in the midfield, because Wayama, who unfortunately he was one of those players that did not get back to his team in time because he was on international duty, and that's it. If when MLS was trying to use a charter service to get all those players that was on international duty back in time for their club in the first round of the playoffs, that was not the case for Wanyama, unfortunately. And Piat was not available in this game because he, of course, picked up the red card in that game against DC United, and that he was suspended for this one. But judging by the fact that New England was started a very strong team against a Montreal side that was already the underdogs coming into this game, and now kind of was shorthanded, you would think that this was probably going to be an easy win for New England. Now, in the first half, it looked like they got the opening goal just 5 minutes in when basically Gustavo Bo was able to score, but unfortunately he basically scored it on his hand and trying to kind of replicate a hand of God moment. But unfortunately, since nowadays when there is VAR that basically looks at every play, you know that most likely you're not going to get away with a hand of God kind of moment, and rightfully so, that was disallowed for an obvious handball, and he also got a yellow card out of that. But I thought both teams had some half chances in the first 10 minutes. Buxar had a chance just 5 minutes later, but unfortunately hits the post on the header. Before Bojan, just 10 minutes later, had a 24-yard shot that just fits wide off the post. Bo did had another chance from about 16 yards out, but unfortunately he hits it wide before Diop denied Buchanan from close range. And I thought New England was started to be more threatening, and they started to become the better side as this game continued to go on, and that I thought eventually a goal was bound to happen, and it seemed like New England was going to be the one that grabs the first goal, which that of course was the case, because in the 39th minute, Carlos Hill would score from Gustavo Bo to give New England a 1-0 lead, and as soon as they got that 1-0 lead, it looked like they were hungry to get a second goal, and Montreal was desperate to try to get to halftime to regroup, because it was pretty clear that their midfield was just getting completely overrun, and that the defense was really putting some last-ditch kind of effort to prevent themselves going down more than just the 1-0 that they're going to head into halftime, which thankfully they were able to do. Now, in the second half, things kind of turns out a little bit differently early on, because I thought things kind of started to be a little bit tighter, and that mainly because New England was kind of started to sit back and allow Montreal to try to break them down. And I thought that was not a bad tactics to use, because, you know, you're at home, you have a 1-0 lead, and you know that Montreal is a team that struggle in terms of trying to break down an attack that might be a little playing a little bit tighter. Then you know most likely you're going to just hang on to a 1-0 lead. But here's the problem for New England when they try to use that tactics. Yeah, what happened when they do get to the set piece kind of defending? Because that was really one thing that, you know, of all the things I've kind of talked about New England, one thing that I kind of forget to talk about of why this team really struggled this season, besides being very poor in the final third, is the set piece defending. Like, they are one of the worst team in terms of set piece defending, and that they gave up a lot of goals on the set piece. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened at the hour mark. Bad set piece defending allowed Kyoto basically score from Camacho and Stitch to give New England or give Montreal the equalizer in the 60th minute, and really one of the first real chance that Montreal has had in the second half, despite the fact that they were trying their best to go on the attack and unlock this New England defense. Then New England kind of, you know, the other thing that I also kind of realized after the equalizer happened is that New England kind of started to lose their sharpness on the attack, and they started to kind of go back to old habits of where the one of the biggest problem for New England this season is that they always tend to play it when they're in the final third. In the 71st minute, Bo had a 17-yard shot that kind of just hits wide before after that missed opportunity. Montreal actually went on the other end and almost scored on the other end. And I also kind of thought that it looks like this game was up for grabs, and that despite the fact that New England might pile on all the pressure, New England's got to be careful not to get caught on the counterattack, because there were a couple of times where they really got caught on the counterattack, and basically they almost were made to pay for. Although in the 78th minute, Bunbury probably should have scored from 12 yards out, but unfortunately he puts it just high off the net. And I shouldn't say he probably should have scored. He definitely should have scored that one from 12 yards out. Like, he had time to try to take a couple of touches to basically aim to the top right, but the fact that he wasn't able to put that on target has to be very disappointing. But again, New England was really putting the pressure. They were looking to try to get that lead back. Diop was able to rob Heel from 12 yards out from the far post before Turner actually prevented Polster almost scoring an own goal. And even though it turns out it looks like it was kind of an easy save with him just kind of basically catched it very easily, that could have been a disaster for New England, especially the fact that if Polster, when he hits that own goal, if basically he hits it a little bit harder, maybe Turner doesn't actually react quick enough, and that would have been probably a bad way to concede a goal and lose a game right at that moment. But just as we thought that was a chance for Montreal to get the goal to take the lead, on the other end, Diop had an incredible save, and probably the best save of this game, as he was able to go full stretch and somehow able to rock Buxa, who had a free header, and Diop actually also tipped this one onto the post to prevent this one to tie it at 1-1. And just as we thought that this was going to head to extra time, and this was, I wouldn't mind an extra 30 minutes of this game of how exciting this one was. Gustavo Bo basically put the dagger in the heart of Montreal, as he scored in the 95th minute from Dewan Jones to retake the lead for New England. And in the end, that was the final score of this game, as the shots in this one, 25 shots compared to 9 that Montreal has, 9 shots on goal compared to 5 that Montreal has, 7 shots off target compared to 3 that Montreal has, 9 shots that was blocked compared to 1 that Montreal has, and possession-wise, 66% possession compared to 34% possession that Montreal has. But either way, what a game this is. And if you're Montreal, this has to be an absolute heartbreaker, because I thought, despite the fact that they were shorthanded coming into this game, they definitely played much better than I originally thought, and they were just only seconds away to send this one into extra time. But for New England, this has to be a huge relief, the fact that they grabbed that late winner and able to move on into the next round, because if they would have lost this game, this would have definitely be a bit of an embarrassment, considered they by far had the strongest team in this game and have the better quality against a shorthanded Montreal team, and they're playing at home nevertheless, and yet they still somehow fall in a playoff matchup. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for this preview. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this crazy game that we saw in the first playing game of the Eastern Conference. Hopefully we're going to see something similar to these kind of crazy action in the playoffs. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to see something similar as we head into the second playing game between Inter Miami and Nashville, which of course is going to kick off very soon. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.